Donald Trump publicly told Vladimir Putin off and stated that he would not waste his precious time on him. Trump stated that he would only meet with Putin when he is sure that Putin is ready to make peace with Ukraine. Until then, any contact with the Kremlin dictator is out of the question. Putin urgently sent his envoy Dmitriev to Washington to save the situation, but there Dmitriev was called a Russian propagandist. Moreover, after sanctions were imposed against Rosneft and Lukoil, the White House stated that if Putin does not calm down in the coming days, the United States will introduce a new package of sanctions. And this will continue until Putin agrees to negotiations or until the Russian economy collapses. But the most painful thing for Putin is that this too is official. Trump and Xi Jinping are preparing to meet in the coming days, and everything indicates that the two leaders are ready to make a mega deal that could sharply reduce China's support for Russia. And on top of that, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte mockingly stated that Putin is running out of money, soldiers, and ideas to continue the war. My name is Alexei Pechi. Today is October 26th. Let's discuss this topic together. It's very intense. But before we start this episode, I ask you to subscribe to this channel, give it a like, and leave any comment under this episode. Also subscribe to my Telegram channel, Pechi News. The link is in the description of this video. There we publish breaking news as it comes in. And if you want to support the work of this YouTube channel, you can do so with any donation using the links and details in the description of this video. It says there, support the channel Alexei Pechi. Choose any format that's convenient for you, whether it's a donation, sponsorship, or a paid subscription. I will be grateful for any support from you. I'll begin with the upcoming Trump-Xi Jinping meeting. United States Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent stated that an escalation of tariffs against China is effectively ruled out. Meanwhile, the Chinese delegation that held talks with the Americans in Malaysia stated that the parties have reached a consensus on the trade deal. And now Trump and Xi Jinping need to discuss the final details and sign it. But suddenly today, Donald Trump announced that India will completely stop buying Russian oil and China will significantly reduce its purchases. Although such statements have never been made before, just like what has now become known. Today, Trump will discuss with Xi Jinping the issue of ending Russia's war against Ukraine. And now, the United States Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, states, quote, "I think we have reached a substantial basis for the meeting of the two leaders, which will take place next Thursday. The introduction of tariffs will be prevented. Let me remind you, United States President Donald Trump threatened China with the introduction of additional 100% tariffs starting November 1st due to Beijing's attempts to impose export controls on critically important rare earth metals. This naturally heightened tensions between the United States and China. And today, Bessent once again repeats, quote, I expect that the threat of 100% export controls has disappeared, as has the threat of China immediately introducing a global export control regime. And it is already known that on Thursday, October 30, Trump will meet with Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the annual Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation meeting. And as Trump stated, quote, we, I think, will make a deal on all issues. We will make a deal on rare earth metals as well as an agreement on soybeans. Let me explain a little here. China, once the largest importer of American soybeans, suspended purchases in May due to the escalation of bilateral relations. American farmers were dissatisfied, but now China will again purchase large quantities of American-grown soybeans. This is very important for the domestic American audience. But then Trump makes a statement, quote, actually, I will talk to him about how we can put an end to Russia's war against Ukraine, whether it's through oil, energy, or something else. And I think Xi Jinping will be very receptive to this issue. And a little later, Trump stated that India would stop buying Russian oil altogether, while China might significantly reduce its purchases. And as it turned out, Bessent closely linked the issue of trade negotiations with the talks on Ukraine. And if Bessent is optimistic today, it means there is some breakthrough in this matter. And that's exactly why Putin has been rattling nuclear weapons so loudly in recent days. Because Putin understands that Xi Jinping and Trump could actually reach some kind of deal in which there simply won't be any place for Putin. Especially since Trump has already stated today that he won't meet with Putin until he sees that Putin is truly ready to make a peace agreement with Ukraine. And Trump emphasized that he is no longer going to waste his time for nothing, pointlessly. Trump stated directly, quote, "Let me remind you, Trump cancelled the meeting with Putin on October 23, citing the lack of progress in the peaceful settlement. It seemed to me that we wouldn't achieve what we should," Trump explained, adding that every time he has good conversations with Putin, but in the end, it doesn't lead to anything. Trump added that he always had the feeling that Putin wants to take all of Ukraine, but the United States will not allow that. "We don't want him to have everything," Trump emphasized. And what did he do? He sanctioned Russia's two largest oil companies, Rosneft and Lukoil, and their subsidiaries. It's funny that Putin himself assured that the summit with Trump in Budapest was more likely postponed than cancelled, citing a lack of time for its preparation as the reason. And now, commenting on the new sanctions, the president of the Russian Federation stated, quote, "No self-respecting country ever makes decisions under pressure, but in fact, he rejected the possibility of ending the war." And now the White House has announced that Washington has prepared additional sanctions against the Russian Federation, which could hit key sectors of the Russian economy if the Kremlin continues to delay ending the war. The new American restrictions could affect Russia's banking sector and its oil supply infrastructure. In addition, Washington has begun internal discussions about using Russian assets located in the United States to support the Ukrainian army. In addition, the main lever of pressure remains the halt of India's purchase of Russian oil. And in this regard, we have made huge progress. But I will tell you more about this in the next one. In the next episode, I will put an ellipsis here. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments under this episode. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like. That's all for now. Take care of yourselves. Bye, everyone.